I
You
see.
can target every audience. Everybody's going to know the names that you're talking about. You're championing the ladies who are now like significant sports stars by their own hard work and their own right. You're inspiring young kids and stuff like that, but also raising eyes to like, oh, some of the football stars, I'd never seen them before. And I instantly Googled who was
Who
all
was
the
it?
people in the Nike advert just to understand who they were. And you're seeing like different people. And it's like, that to me inspired me. I like that. That was my favorite ad because it's like, yeah, go back to that. That's what made you the brand that when I had Mercurials, my first free football boots before I changed to other brands were Mercurials.
And that's what was my first football boots. I must have. I had my first ones I bought. They were total nine. The first versions of them, not with the 90 on them. They had like the side laces,
Okay.
and they were white and black. I got them for like 22 quid.
Not the Rooney, not the, but
This is
back.
one more,
Okay,
one
yeah,
more, and nobody in Kenya had those shoes.
yeah.
And I came to football practice, literally, bro. The way people were just like, "What the fuck?"
Wow.
Yeah, white boots,
Serious.
white and black boots in Kenya. Everyone's like, "Yo, I'm nicking those after the
Serious.
game." I
Bruh.
was scared of my life. I mean, I wasn't great, but it made me feel like I was like top tier.
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with that. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with making somebody feel that way. And that feeling came from seeing athletes and the Ronaldinho's, Ronaldo's, Roberto
Yeah.
Carlos's have them. And I think, okay, cool. Like now, while it's going to be a bit more difficult because there's so many more people who might be a Ronaldinho, Roberto Carlos, not just the athletes. I still think athletes are respected to that level.
You
And if
have
you
to,
have that,
man.
you've got to use it. You've got to use that.
And yeah, you're right in the sense of they deviated away from that because even now, the way the way Kylian Mbappe is marketing, Haaland, like these, they have the top tier athletes, but then you compare them to how they're put on a pedestal versus Adidas with Jude Bellingham, and Trent is next basically if he moves to Real Madrid. You look at how Adidas have kept that ethos of these are our stars, like even the basketball sneakers and stuff that are coming out, they're specifically aligned with these players.
Yeah.
And I don't think they've lost. Like even you get like elements of Zidane coming back and Beckham. That's legacy stuff.
Exactly.
Nike should be leaning on. I think they got elements of this with the Total 90 release with Edgar Davids coming back and Luis Figo, that kind of stuff. I think they're pivoting in that way back, which it's evident now.
With the new Haaland boots, they done like, even you see they've been smart because even some of the influencers that are micro influencers, like there's a guy called JB, Just Busy Entertainment, and he's just Mr. How Greedy is his name, and he was running promotion for the Haaland boots when they came out, as well as the Haaland advert that came out as well, like warning goalkeepers and defenders to be scared. But it's just like, whilst I'm not going to buy those boots because I'm not a striker, I'm like, yes, okay, go back to that. I want to see more of that. It's like, next advert, let's get these footballers to create something, a new style, but Joga Bonito that allows you to see that. That's
leaning into personality again.
Yeah.
So I think that's so on that topic, I think what I wanted to touch on as well was Puma.
Okay.
So they released it's more of a general chat about how I feel that brand is very I don't know what's going on. Like there's certain elements of their roster is great. So because they have such a strong foothold in motorsport, like the trending Gen Z trainer now is the Puma Speed Cats, which we were like using when I was 2008 time. So like you said, cyclical. But I don't know what's happening with that brand in football, especially with the mainstays. Like their legacy in the game is heavy. Like you're talking Pele using their boots. Do you know what I mean? Like we're not talking like throwaway people. We're talking legacy in the game. And I just think with this whole, because they've got Jack Grealish. We saw a couple of the adverts in the last month, and I was just like, I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah,
it's those. I know we're talking about football, but it's those. What is it? Is it Melo?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh, the turtle NBA crap. Nah. Oh
Look,
my god.
Can we just separate that? So the shoes are
that shoe is trash. I'm sorry.
The shoe is horrible.
Yeah.
But the activation, like they put them in pizza boxes. I was like, fair dues you put in the fridge.
Yeah.
Like, I like the activation.
Of
I do not
course.
like the shoe
The
at all.
shoe is so
It's bad.
terrible, man.
It's really bad.
Honestly. But anyway, yeah. Back to I don't know, from Puma's perspective.
Neymar is the name, of course, that comes up because that's their guiding light. That's their superstar on the roster, and they do like these packs with him and creative packs.
Who else is there though?
Jack Grealish.
I think Griezmann was
Yeah,
Puma.
but he's
I don't
moved
know,
to
he's moved.
Decathlon now.
Oh yeah, he has. Yeah.
But this is where not even New Balance, what's it? Sketches.
Yeah.
I feel they have replaced now because of the personalities that they have. They got Mohamed Kudus, they've got Zinchenko, they've got Harry Kane, and you look at even just the aesthetic of the brand.
Yeah.
When you watch the interview with like Roger Federer and that,
Yeah.
it just, I don't know, it feels like they're doing a bit more in that space.
I think Skechers, the fundamentals of football boots, what you cannot get away is do people want to buy the boot as well?
Because people forget that.
Yeah.
Like the product.
You can't say and you know, as well as the fact that Neymar's been injured for quite a while, so he's not had the chance to demonstrate the boots, do anything
He was in Saudi as well for like 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Is that the main spotlight?
I mean, but even if he was, and he's doing a lot, because I've seen Saudi clips being more widely shared, you know, like the one goal from Riyad Mahrez, which was crazy the other day I saw.
Duran as well, yes.
Yeah, like I've seen clips coming out. If they're doing significant stuff, it's still going to get shared. So, you know, I don't think it's a national thing. I think it's mainly the fact that they have put behind stars who are not necessarily playing at the highest level or performing at the highest level and giving them clips. But then also the boots themselves do not have the quality. And I think there's a lesson in that for any brand, because it's like your product still has to do X amount before you're going to put it behind people. Unless, even if you've got the strongest influencers or strongest ambassadors for your brand, the product itself has to be something that people want to buy, because when you marry those two together, it's crazy.
A great case study just how Skechers are not fans of football were laughing when they came in. We were like, what the fuck is going on?
Exactly.
Why is Harry Kane wearing Skechers? Why, like, the way they've changed their perception of that brand from being this middle-aged shoe that you buy when your feet hurt to now being somewhat elite performance athletes. Harry Kane has helped that for sure.
Yeah.
But it's a great case study to see how you have a legacy brand like Puma have skin in the game, and I feel they've been displaced in that sense. And how you, like you said, focus on the product. At the end of the day, if you look side by side on the Puma shoe and the Skechers look amazing. Even the all black version, like they're sticking in my mind.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last Puma shoe that like did that
really hit
visually.
You. Yeah.
The only thing I can remember is there was a tournament where they were wearing the pink and the blue boot, like the Puma athletes. That was the only.
I remember those, and those were kind of the line of the last boots that I remember. I remember Yaya Touré's yellow Puma boots with the black Puma line on it, and those were still at a level where it was good. That's when Puma, to me, started to get into color. I think what Puma have done a little bit is gone crazy with their color combinations and move away from heritage. Because the thing about Puma, what they will never be able to escape is that we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago, the most famous boot for them is the Puma King.
Yeah. It's
straight
a legacy boot.
White tongue, white line on it, black
full
boot.
Leather.
And I feel like they've created the rest of the brand so far from that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, where is the all black slick Puma boot, like the Skechers boot? Where is that with no tongue, like almost like a mercurial? I'm sure they probably got one out there, but how have they gotten?
Well, it's not reached product view, right?
You know what I mean?
You look at how even like Adidas did the relaunch of the Predator.
Yeah.
Like as Puma, you should be looking at that Puma King boot to be like, we need to launch this for now and get it out there and make it like that heritage.
Yeah.
I just think, there's something wrong there.
And they've got the one of the best number 10s for Brazil now, and they were worn by the greatest number 10 for Brazil that is considered
one of the greatest football players.
There's
ever.
a campaign in that in itself for like reimagining the boot. You know what I mean? I think that's where they've fallen off. I think they've been trying to distance themselves from what made the brand great. And with sports, you see it. It's like there's not an appreciation for things going in
I've got the
cycles.
athlete list, the football list of Puma. So this is what Google's given me. Christian Pulisic
Okay.
works because of the American angle. Neymar, Griezmann, but we've just mentioned he's moved
To
over.
Decathlon.
Marco Reus,
Mhm.
Rafael Varane, retired now. James Maddison, Thiago Silva, retiring. Marco Arnautovic, Dejan Lovren, Sergio Aguero, who's not playing anymore. Bernd Leno. Yeah, there's nobody there that I'm like there's nobody there that's like at the top of the game in terms of top 10 footballers.
So I used to play football with these, two separate teams, with two guys who'd work respectively for, ironically, Puma and ironically Puma and Adidas, in discussing with players these deals to get them boots, and to kind of make them sign the sponsorships, kind of going to them, sitting down with them, breaking down the technical aspects of a boot, the performance, how they're gonna brand it, and so on and so forth, and kind of having those conversations to test the waters and sign the contracts. That okay, cool, yeah, I'm gonna be that person. And I think what I always used to get from asking them questions on the conversations that they had is like, I would be like, because I'd be interested in the players, like what do they ask you? And players are interested in how the boot, how comfortable it is. Because you gotta forget, this is what they're using to do their job. Yeah. It's like asking somebody what laptop they want at work. I always opt for Macs because I used to a Mac. If you give me a Windows, you might use it, but it's very difficult for me to get back into it because my personal computer is a Mac. So you want a boot that is comfortable, it performs, it looks good. You want to know that the branding is going to be there, but also there's an aesthetic that certain players want, and not every player wants this multicolored. A lot of players, in fact, more now, are going back to the
Basics,
straight black, straight whites, straight. There's not many red boot players or blue
is only the Nikes that have come out, the Tiempos, which I've seen there. I really like them, but they were like this metallic dark blue. But apart from that, it's only Nike.
It's like darker colors. It's like those classic colors that people want. Yeah. So I think, is that process happening where is it that thing? Some brands, when they market and they talk about themselves, rather than talking about rather than listening to the customer and talking about what the customer wants. Is it the case of Puma doing that in the boot room now, where they're saying, we want to get this out as our brand and we're going to force it on players, rather than saying, what do players want? What do players need? Not from, just, this is the inside cushion, like aesthetically, and then trying to get that to players, because maybe more players would.
The thing is with the forcing, I think they're using those like name. I think this is where contracts come in. Like they're like, we got to. I'm sure they're aware that like Neymar's at the end of his days.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, we've still got a contract. We need to get as much as we can out of
this contract, yeah,
before it's too late.
Yeah.
And I feel like they probably did that already, and maybe it's missed me, but obviously they launched a new boot in the last few days.
Yeah.
And Neymar joined Santos like a week or 10 days ago. He's gone back to his boyhood club.
Oh, really? He has?
Yeah. And I'm just like, again, that's a moment in time where they had an opportunity to create he's gone back to his boyhood club. Here's the boot that he's going to be wearing. This black boot, which has got Pele's DNA. It all just worked. There was an opportunity there and they missed it. And you see this multicolored rainbow, purple, pink boot that comes out. And you're like, and that's the first thing that came out to me. I was like, have you just not incorporated the Santos move, like the grandeur of what that means, into your messaging as a product at all?
Because
you've just discounted it.
That is the football element. That is the football story. That's the story.
DNA, you're going back home.
You know what I mean? There's a story there. It's like, what is the story? This is like storytelling with your brand again. What is the story behind this boot? The only thing I've seen for this boot activation is that they brought it next to the LaMelo turtle sprinkle freaking kids ice cream boot.
It just reminded me of like the Simpsons donut, bro. That's literally
triple glazed with pink jam and purple jam, bro. This so trash. I'm sorry, man.